Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. A tiny gap in programming there. Apologies for that. I got unexpectedly abducted to a camping trip against my will. Well, sort of against my will. My son's birthday request, which, as you'll find out if you don't already have children, when they make a request, you have to do it, and you have to pretend that you want to do it as well, because that's part of the deal. And then I was going to get a cast out yesterday, but unfortunately, Friday night, had a little bit of a drinky poos. And you know what? Whiskey and I, we're just going to stay friends. It's not going to go any further than that. Because damn, when you approach 40, there's no such thing as a 24-hour hangover anymore. It is 48 hours long. So if it's a little bit ropey today, and I start looking at a GC and calling it a striker or whatever it might be, I know you'll forgive me because we're such good friends. Awesome. Custom 2v2, very solid pro level action this afternoon. It has already featured on Jagged Appliances streams, so if you've seen it already, apologies for that, but there'll be a lot of people that haven't, and I think this is definitely one that is worthy of some attention. And the action this afternoon is going down on Phenom Spartiate version 2. How very exotic. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching. Ka-ching. Instant loading. That's what we like to see. This will be Team 1 up here at the top as usual. And this will be Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1, we have Nexus, formerly Nexus of Reality, of course, but now I actually like the shortened version. Makes my life easier. Here he is, going Seraphim in Vivacious Violet. How truly fabulous. And he's going first land. Team member number 2. It's Silene Undulata, not a name I'm familiar with, but as a 1900, he's probably someone we've seen around as under a different pseudonym. If you know who this is, guys, do whack it in the comments section below and let us know, because, yeah, it's always useful. But we'll be referring to him as Silene today. He's going Aeon in Lurid Green, opening first land. Team member, sorry, no, first player on Team 2 down here in Regal Purple. It's Paralon. He's going Aeon, opening first land. So a couple of Aeons and another Aeon over here to boot. The last player, none other than the aforementioned Jagged Appliance. Here he is. So 3 Aeons and a Seraphim today. It's going to be a whole lot of floaty, naughty going on. And he is going first land in Burgundy Red. But by the sounds of things, Paralon saying, ho, Aeon. Goodness, and Undulata, a lot of Aeon. So I'm guessing this was probably a mass random affair when they picked it. So there we go. Seems like there's a little bit of surprise. So floaty, naughty, but not by intentional E going on. First offensive units out, and that's for Jagged. He's going for some lab play. Everybody else just sticking with the conventional buildy engineer. Go and grab a mexy strat. Not worried about getting too much harassment on. We have got a spirit out from that first sort of 5-6 unit build order from Paralon. Lots and lots of land factories queued up for him. Land all day. Oh no, Jagged Appliance going air 2 and then on to land. And he sent that lab, by the looks of things, up towards the middle, hoping to catch, no doubt, one of these engineers working their way on their Todd towards those redundant mexes. Lonely lab trundles his way through the jungle. Ugh, no respect for the flora and fauna. How disgusting. And the spirit has locked on to an incoming engineer. In we come. Flare opens up. The reclaim order is off, and that's going to win. It's very embarrassing when that happens. No micro from Jagged on the lab, so Nexus gets to keep his engineer for now, assuming he doesn't die to that whopping 2 DPS or whatever it is coming off that spirit. He's just going to ignore it. I'll go about my business, thank you, and let this incoming Tham deal with you, you pesky little floaty robot, you. Spirit or something got zapped over there, coming in towards the bottom section of Nexus's base. Let's switch the view to generated eco. Nexus out in front, 25. Next highest is Jagged on 17. So Nexus has got the best start eco-wise in the early game. Hasn't let that little incoming lab play, of course, affect him in any way. Got that reclaim off nice and quickly. So early start for him. Very well done, sir. Now getting to that point in the game where players starting to move their comms forward. Absolutely necessary, of course. We know that. If you don't do it, your opponent will, and then that's a whole lot of muscle up front that you can't contend with. Selen pulling his comm out over to the right as well. Lots of land factories on the way from him. Definitely all about get as many land factories on the ground as soon as possible, and make no bones about it. And a lot of P-gens as well. There's a lot of mass on this map. You don't want to be power stalling. How is everybody doing? Nexus is up on 39 versus the next highest, which is 29, so he's running away with it on the eco side of things. How's his power balance? Oh, squeaky is the answer to that. Barely holding on, and it's probably going to be across the board. Yeah, so much mass, you just can't build T1 power quick enough to deal with it. So it'll be a little bit of a catch-up period. Whoever gets control of that power balance first will probably be in pretty good shape going forward. Paralon's comm coming forward to almost the midpoint. Nexus just shifting right ever so slightly over towards this little group of Auroras there belonging to Paralon just to the east. Meanwhile, up over the top of Selen's base, a little bit of an air fracas going on. Jagged with a few extra aircraft in the skies. That one hero Inti did a fair bit of damage before going down. So yep, game quality was at 94%. If we didn't say that already, can't recall whether or not that's the case. That's the whiskey. I wonder how many brain cells a night of that level of drinking costs you. Someone look that up. Is there a measurement somewhere where 2 bottles of beer, a bottle of red wine, and half a bottle of whiskey? How much does that kill? Asking for a friend. Because I now have split personality. I'm my friend. Yes, so early exchanges bottoming out ever so slightly. People starting to get a coherent front line together. Selen looking like he's going to test the water once again with a little bit of a probing attack over in the east. Mass totals, Nexus's former advantage has been whittled away, still having major power issues. And it really is the story of the day. Well, sort of. Actually, Team 2 have their power in order right now. They might not be pulling in quite as much mass as Nexus, but what good is it if you can't consistently spend it or accrue all the mass that you're due because your power is not acceptable, as Super Nanny would say. Actually, she wouldn't. She would say it. That is not acceptable. Anybody from the UK would know that. Or indeed the Americans, actually. You guys had borrowed Super Nanny for a bit. And you probably changed the title, though. Everyone's like, Kyle, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know. I'm so drunk. I think I'm still drunk. That's the case. Many, many Auroras bearing down on one very isolated little mechs there. Sort of feel like we could bump the game sounds a smidge. Sounding a bit quiet. Haven't adjusted those. Got to get some of that noise. Otherwise it's just not the same. Selen making a little bit of a dent here with this merry band of T1, only to run into our first seen T2 unit of the game. A blaze there out from Jagged. Now chasing down some of this spam. Got a couple of them in play. Gun upgrade on the way for Jagged as well. That'll be the range. What's he got on there so far? Nothing as yet. So that's the first upgrade for him. Nexus still in the lead at 59, and Selen not far behind him at 57. Reclaim totals, if you check it out, Team 1 are ahead on that side of things too. It's 41. Hang on a sec, let's check it properly. Yeah, it's 12 to 9.3. So total mass accrued so far. It's 43 to 38 in favor of Team 1. We've got right up next to the comm there. He's completed one upgrade. He's now going for speed. And Selen has completed an upgrade as well on his comm. So he's got double gun. So we're going to have dual Aeon double comm on this side any moment. 5% more for Jagged, and then we'll be there. Paralon went for the T2 engineering suite instead, and he's laying down the fortifications. 2 T2 point defense soon to be in play there. Nexus went exactly the same way. So we've got 2 different routes, upgrade routes, on each side of the map being mimicked by both teams in their respective sides. So this should be interesting. Commie, shooty, shooty action on that side versus point defense creep and shields on this side. And that's actually a small advantage, I feel. All matter of opinion, I suppose. It probably isn't. There will be some mechanics that explains it, but I've always felt the high damage, high splash alpha strike of the Oblivion turret feels superior to the beam, the Seraphim T2 beam weapon over there. So perhaps that's an advantage for Paralon and Team 2. Feel free to weigh in on the comments if you're concerned I'm talking garbage. And also while you're down there, hit like immediately, because the earlier the likes come in, the more promotion the channel gets. And I'm nothing if not needy of attention. Jagged Appliance faring poorly in this initial exchange between these two comms. He's down to around 5,500 HP. Bang on 50% of his base versus 7,800 there on Selen. These two identically upgraded comms. Neither of them with any rank in vet. Jagged getting support now from a couple of asylums. Going to get right to the edge of the shield, and now it's Selen's turn to fare poorly, and he's going to dip his head under the water there in that conveniently placed little puddle, whatever that means, some crevice on that side of things. Always makes for interesting comm play, the sides of the map, just having that little bit of cover. Time to build a cheeky T1 torpedo launcher in there. That would have been where I would have gone, but he's pushing on ground-wise in the meantime with his blazes. He needs to move the asylums up and cover those corner blazes up there. It's like fish in a barrel now. These tinfoil auroras just getting torn asunder. Jagged will back up nonetheless. Give a little bit of ground. Maximize the range advantage. Keep firing. Asylum is getting some work done for that group of T1. Let's check in on the base wars over on this side. A couple of even songs out there for Paralon. Otherwise, not a huge amount happening, so we can go back, check out what's happening in the east, and Selen has taken a battering, and he can barely get away right now from this puddle. This is why, if I were Jagged, surely you'd want to start trying to force him out of that with some torpedo launchers or something. He hasn't got access to T2 tech up here, so he can't be throwing down any T2 torpedo launchers, but he's so close to getting a comm kill here. Surely want to keep the pressure up. Look at me lecturing the best players in the world at SOCCOM. It's quite absurd, really. Those blazers we saw pressuring the front lines there of Selen a moment ago, pushing up towards the space in the middle in between Nexus and Selen. And they might just be joined by some of Paralon's forces Nice little cheeky crater base under Nexus's control. It really does surprise me that he's not trying to do anything about that. Will the ground fire T1s reach him? Yes, they will. Well, that might just do it. And he'll have to move away from that. And if Jagged had his comm nearby, surely this would be a kill in the making right here. He moves a little bit deeper where they can't reach. It's deeper than it looks, that little trench. In comes an asylum. And now there's a sniper bot lurking back here. And they can be horrendous. Don't want to walk into those. Feels like a missed opportunity. I'm sure there'll be plenty of pros screaming at me in the comments right now. Saying, what are you talking about? That was never on the cards, but... RAS upgrade on the way there for Paralon. 37% in climbing. Nexus running away with the eco game, still having monumental struggles with his power grid. Building energy storage. Need some more power plants to fill up the energy storages. So 191 when his economy's not hampered by power stalling. Next highest there is Paralon at 155 and Jagged on 148. Selene is having critical power issues as well, and he's really fallen behind the others. Even with the power lock, you can tell he's way behind. I forget exactly what the percentage is that you lose on a power stall of your mass income, but he's a long way down where he should be, so he could potentially find it difficult to keep up with the pace of gameplay. Coming up from his south, that's gonna require some burden sharing from Nexus, who's just starting to probe Paralon's forward defenses. Getting another upgrade. D3 or ARAS? ARAS, so Paralon looking to boost his eco significantly, and he's done pretty well. He's up to about 65%, 60% on the upgrade, something like that. So he's nearly there. You can see with the normal RAS, he's already up to the 180s. Nexus on 223. He's a beast, that man, I tell you. Lanky looking replicators. Replicators with tumours on their pituitary glands. Legs never stop growing. Pew! Got to love the pew-pews. Selene over here with his double gun, still looking pretty peaky and vulnerable. Shield upgrade on the way for Jagged. Did we finish ARAS? We did finish ARAS. Where does that leave us now? So Paralon up to 222 and Nexus spiking over 260, though we think that's reclaim, I would imagine. 242 looks like the more accurate reading. T3 power plants, the order of the day now. Will that finally bring an end to his power woes? Well, he seems to be relatively stable. And there it goes, and now he really is stable, and he's off, and he doesn't have to worry about power issues for the time being. Absolutely ideal. Ideally-o. Couple of harbingers from Selen testing the water, finding some pretty stiff resistance from Jagged. He won't be making it through anywhere sensitive. A lot of sniper bots in play. Really is a case of have a strut around some geographical feature and take long-range pot shots at your shielded opponents. Shields have collapsed on this little group over here belonging to Jagged. Harbs marching forward, picking off the asylums that come in to block, whilst the sniper bots back up. Selen experiencing power grievances once more. I wonder if that's because he was just started an upgrade on his shield. Not a great time for it when your forces are under pressure. Harbs brought in up the middle from Paralon with a couple of extra ones behind them from Jagged. Going to meet a whole bunch of siege tanks, primarily from Nexus, but also some harbingers from Selen. And then they're going to back up. So neither team finding any major chinks in their opponent's defenses right now. "20 minutes gone. Paralon almost at economic parity with Nexus. He's done a really good job of catching up. Now the inevitable yo-yo effect as forces jostle for position in the middle, and actually, base wars wise, things going better for Paralon. Nexus up front with his comm, unable to keep up with the barrages from sniper bots and T3 mobile artillery. Got a few Serenities in here, looks to be about 3 or 4, no, maybe more, 5 or 6. And that has obliterated that little forward fire base there. Nexus moving back with his comm, not all the way, but just to the midpoint, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. Jagged Appliance shield, personal shield, getting a battering from that absolver there. Engineers being airlifted in to make use of the reclaim at a very inopportune moment, just as hordes of harbingers advance their way towards the middle of the map. Sniper bots foolishly leaving the cover of their shields there. And there go the engineers. That's not gone well. Jagged Appliance with his shield somewhat reinstated. Moving back in to try and shoo those units away. So there's going to be a lot of softening up with this territory now with all these Serenities. Going to start to see a slow creep forward. Paralon's going to afford them coverage with some base shields. See how far he decides to extend that. Nexus setting up his backstop position. To build shields and triplicate now just to keep out those artillery pieces. There's a lot of damage. Oh, shields down. Will he get to keep the other ones? No, he won't. Ouch. So even that position No longer safe, it would seem. He's got to find a way to charge back in and break Paralon because he is on the warpath at the moment. He's just stacking ranged equipment and building base shields as coverage. At some point, you might find an opening for a siege tank or indeed a ruddy great experimental, which is just completed and is making its way in towards that front line. Has it been spotted? There's a lot of scurrying going around in the background there underneath that shield of Paralons, so suggests to me that he might be well aware of the incoming danger. Seems to be like they're in full retreat. And there they go. Commander backing up as well. Have we got any counter experimental? Yes, we do. A GC finishes just a little while later for Paralon. And we are now in that experimental phase of the game. The Thota opens up. Begins his inevitable march forward. They lock horns on one another. You usually expect the GC to come out victorious in this situation. Depends how many siege tanks are on him, though. He might well go down around about the same time. Got to get that Ethota down. There it goes. Ion Storm en route. That has done a lot of damage to that defensive infrastructure that Paralon was setting up. Obviously short on point defense. It was mostly shields, and his long-ranged mobile weaponry was doing most of the heavy lifting on that pressure. But easy come, easy go with the experimentals, and as a contingency, Paralon briefly switched to Mercy production, so he was about to start bringing in the guided missiles. But they are getting to that stage now with these high mass totals, these high mass incomes, where they're going to start pumping out these experimentals. Another GC completes there. And actually Nexus has pulled away from Paralon again on eco side of things. He's managed to push it to about 410 mass per tick versus a 316. So that's huge. But then Jagged Appliance is way up over Selene as well, 284 versus 200. So actually, team-wise, it's pretty close. Team income, it's 600 almost apiece. It's jostling up and down, but it's pretty much level on generated eco between these two. The question is, how will it work out when someone inevitably falls? Experimentals clashing once again. This time the Thota has a decent head start with his shields, mobile shield generators, which are giving it some cover. Got a lot of sniper bots back here, so he should win this one. Just gets a big old ranking bet when he does, and survives on about 8,000, but there's a lot of long-range fire coming in as well from Paralon. 2,000 hit points, and the Thota is still alive. Best bet perhaps now is to bring it up here and suicide, so that its ion storms won't kill any of his friendly units, and then harvest the mass. I imagine that's where he's headed. Of course he could just bring it back and let it rep up over time. Crucially, are they going to be able to get their hands on all of that mass? That's a lot of mass sitting right there, a stone's throw away from Nexus. He's got engineers right there, and they're starting to harvest. And that really is going to give him some serious income. Yeah, he's going to let that one rep up. Another one inbound. It is just going to be a case now of relentless experimental spam. These close quarter 2v2s. This is a 10 by 10k map, so relatively close quarters. And it seems like a man who might be worried. He's spamming up miasmas back here. Long range artillery installations to keep up the continual fire as they get closer and closer to the base. He is building them all over the shop. Little banks of them everywhere. Jagged has built an experimental. That is badly damaged though. That's already got 19 kills, so it can't have been that one. Heh. There it is. So a brand new one over there. Marching over to the left to give his teammate a boost. Apologies if you can hear my dog going nuts in the background. Didn't get a part in a local play that's going on. He's very upset about it. Fractious creature, that one. Strat bombers building in number, and we've got T3 gunships as well, restorers. So a little bit of a switch up on behalf of Team 2, dipping it into the aerial game. And it looks like they're drifting in the same direction. Where are they headed? They're going for a raid on Nexus. Assist ping going down on top of the comm. They fly overhead initially. Lots of SAMs being queued up as a response. That would be a lovely place for a couple of strat bombs, but no, it looks like Jagged is going to go after the power grid. The restorers have locked onto Nexus. 13,500 is his total base health with his T2 engineering suite upgrade. Gives him a little bit of an extra boost. And these restorers are getting some work done. He's already down to around 50% health. He's going to have to get in that pond. Left that a little bit late, as far as I'm concerned. That was a little uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Jagged has taken down 2 T3 power plants, and there's a T3 air factory there, headquarters, which I'm sure he'd love to get, but he's run out of strat bombers as they've been shot down. Let's check out on the ground attack that's going on as Nexus pushes forward his assault at the front of Paralon's base. Paralon has been building these miasmas, remember. Got a couple of GCs on the go. Another one soon to complete. And check out all of the T1 spam factories that Nexus has put up. Just rows of them. Starting to spam out these Zoes now. Veterancy fodder, really, for the Colossus. Those miasma with their glorious AoE. Another lovely piece of Aeon kit. Jagged is has been pushed back a little bit. There's Nexus after that air raid. Well, he's alright. He's not rolling in power. But I'm wondering if this could have been a little mistake from Jagged. He's been sending his GCs over to the left because his teammate needs to hold Nexus back. And he's been investing in strats and air power, which is leaving him a little thin on the ground up here. If Selene pushes anytime soon with any major ground-based force, that could be a whole new set of problems for Jagged. Nexus has repped up a decent amount, up to around half health. You can just see the torrent of spam. Even the factories up here practically have rally points set over on Paralon's base. And he's still, Nexus is still 100 mass clear of the next highest player, who's Jagged on Team 2 at 375. Extraordinary ecoing. Solid target prioritization, bringing down single targets quickly, get that damage out of the game. Nice bit of juking, but ultimately doesn't keep it alive. Number of Colossus down here are thinning. They do manage to pick off one of the Ethotas. They can take down another one, that would be ideal. Get that Ion Storm causing some damage, but GC was thin on HP. Down it goes. They do snag one of the Ethotas, helped, I think, by the miasmas bombarding the area. What was looking like a very dangerous pile of units for Team 2 suddenly finds itself a little thin. The amount of casualties that have been inflicted already at 33 minutes of constant battle. Pretty overwhelming. So many sniper bots moving over. So rather than pushing Jagged, everything seems to be drifting over to the left. This really is where it's at, where the pressure is being applied. Can't get the GCs out quick enough to keep up with this unending flow of units, which is just heading south from Nexus. I'd love to see a little bit of commitment to counter pressure from Jagged just on this other side, see if they could take out Selene and then force another front for Nexus to fight on up here. But you've got to be, if you were playing in this game, you've got to be very conscious of the fact that Powerlon is up against it right now. Another GC down. And another one soon to follow. But an Ethota goes down too, so just when it looks like there might be a breakthrough on the cards, suddenly the attacker runs out of units once again. But if you think of where the front lines have been, they were up here, they've moved down there, and now this is the conflict zone right here between these two constantly reinforcing armies. T3 upgrade on the way for Nexus. Lots and lots of Serenities that have piled up there in the backfield. So many engineers though, and the majority of the mass, I think it's fair to say, from these skirmishes has gone to Team 1, gone over to Nexus, which is why he's able to keep up the pressure so well. He's about to lose a whole truckload of engineers giant green haze of doom. It's very much like my bedroom yesterday morning when I woke up with a headache so bad even 5 ibuprofen couldn't deal with it. Had a curry the night before, and let's just say the air was not clear. That's some success on the ground there for Selen. Hits a little forward base, takes out a couple of mexes, loses a bunch of harbs to these Oblivion turrets in the process, but gives Jagged something else to think about. Jagged defending with these strats mostly, and he's still putting in some work with them harassing these forces over in the west. "37 minutes gone. Hello!" And Awasar turns up. Now that's interesting. How and when is he going to use it? Looks like he's parking it up behind the main base for the time being. Just got an orchestrated opening now. It's very clear that up until now most of the airplay has been with Jagged, but he's not rolling in ASFs. He's got a band of them over here. Some of those are actually interceptors as well. So taking down an Awasar, it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. And it's drifting over to Jagged's side of the field. And Jagged Appliance base is very unprotected. Oh no. Ouch. And Jagged Appliance himself just started a Tsar. And he gets another bomb off before getting shot down. He's surprised when he gets shot down. That's because he got picked on as well by Paralon, who did have some ASFs of his own. But that has wiped out a whole set of core mass back there. And suddenly Paralon takes a huge dent in his eco. Not as big as I would have thought, actually. He's still on 400. But Jagged loses 2 of his core mass. How much will that affect the state of play, I wonder? Just checking this out. My mistake, this really should have been an epic, I think. In my defense, I watched this before I went away, and I was planning to cast this, and yeah, I kind of forgot just how much stuff dies in it. It's ridiculous amounts of experimentals being absolutely hurled at each other. There's massive face cannons unloading on the different targets, and this is where it really hurts to be the Seraphim with those ion storms. We time one of those Ithotas goes down, it starts lighting up the area and hitting the other ones. It's actually worthwhile. He's got engineers over here. I'm surprised he's not doing the old reclaim trick. You start reclaiming the experimental just as it dies. You can avoid the ion storm. You always could do. I'm wondering if that's something they've altered or corrected. But you do have to be quick, and let's just say there's a lot going on for these players in this game, so if it is still functional, you can't blame them for not managing to prevent it. 2 GCs up front of Jagged's base. Jagged got hit hard by that bomb. Just check out his power grid. At least 3 T3 reactors taken out. Lost 2 core mass. Now he's contending with 2 Colossus or Colossi just roaming around in his forward base. That is gone now. So Jagged Appliance down on 366 or 336, sorry, as he loses that forward base. Ground being gained after that initial bit of air pressure from that Awasar. And Silen capitalizing. Marching, sparing a couple of experimentals, a couple of GCs to march on Jagged's base. Jagged manages to complete the Tsar. That's going to help. But these GCs are committed, and this will be the main base going down now. There goes T3 mechs, there goes another one. A T3 reactor down. The land factory headquarters. This is really bad for Jagged and Team 2. Engineers over here hurriedly trying to complete that GC. Other ones trying to get some Oblivion turrets up. Just anything that can shoot back right now would be ideal. Colossus not waiting for weapons to be built. They're just going to continue their march. They've locked on to that GC that's under construction. All the while, of course, taking fire from the Tsar. He switches up, picks off another T3 reactor. Jagged has just been brutalized by this. They're going to pick off the reactors in the back, or at least one of them. Then he's going to start hoovering up the engineers and kill all of those. And of course the construction is muted, but all this while, of course, he's taking fire from the Tsar and the occasional strat lurking overhead. And there is a GC coming in behind him. Down goes another T3 mechs. Oh, this is painful to watch. Finally, that GC of Silen's finished off, but my goodness, just look at the damage he's done. Now, Jagged will be majorly hampered now in his efforts to assist his teammates over to the west. Paralon, who's still putting out a decent whack of eco on 507, but Jagged down on 229. So, team totals, you're nearly at 1,000 for Team 1 generated eco on Mass Patik there. Down to 746 there for Team 2. It's not looking great right now for Team 2. They are in the stickiest situation since Sticky the Stick Insect got stuck to a sticky bun. Big shout out to the Blackadder crew. So, going your side. Now, can they get anything done with this? Apart from the strats from Jagged, they haven't had a huge amount of air pressure to contend with. There are an assortment of various ground-to-air emplacements kicking about the place, but the ASF still getting things done despite that brand new whopping shield that the Tsar have. And that gets taken down to about 1/3 of its health. He's going to back up and let that shield replenish, but we might have another Awasar problem heading south for Team 2 shortly. Nexus spamming it up, and just look at the rate that that's building. Interesting. Emissary on the way, so we are moving into T3 stationary artillery phase. Lots of things being built at the same time. More GCs with Quantum Gateway up spamming out support commanders. Really is hold the fort with long range weaponry right now and let engineers go in and try and steal as much mass as they can before an artillery shell hits them in the face. That's basically what we're at. But I hear a bomb. It's going for the clumps of engineers, trying to deny some of that reclaim. It's a lot of anti-air in the base, though, so it's not a great place to turn around. Yeah, I see. That's a waste of a pass in my mind. I know all of this is shielded, but you come in across from somewhere else, try and hit that, or even pick off Jaguar, since he is so vulnerable after those last few exchanges. But he really is determined to stifle Reclaim. That's an expensive way to do it. It's got about a quarter of his health left. How's that Tsar doing? Well, terrible. 65 hit points a second flying back onto that puppy, and the shield is nearly at full strength. Just two experimentals melting each other's faces at close range. Jagged has a spare, it's fine. And there's another bomb going down on top of the engineers. 7,000, 6,000 hit points left. GC's brought forward to meet the outrageous numbers of Ithotas. Yeah, this really should have been an epic. Problem was I had planned to get this one out before I went, but circumstances, dear boy, circumstances. And that will be the last pass of the Ithota. Took out a lot of engineers, but I'm just not certain it was worth it. GC trying to get his hits in up front as he reaches into the base, but he's standing in front of a double ion storm. Yowzers. Actually, I'm wondering if this build-up of T3 mobile under the base shields up here is just going to gradually make this untenable for Nexus. It's free hits from complete safety, and he can't break through it, even though it seems like he's assaulting the area with superior forces every time. He doesn't seem to be breaking through. Actually, his kill-loss ratio has dipped below 1 for the first time in a long time. Paralon is up over 1.09. Just indicates that he has been faring better. He has been more efficient on the kill side of things than his mirror up here, and I just wonder how much is due to that. Huge barrages of artillery inflicting massive damage on units that stray into this zone. Jagged holding on down here despite his base being annihilated with the last attack. Redeemers rolling in, but nothing substantial, no major T3 ground force on the way, and we have got land factories going up over here, mostly by the looks of things concerned with pumping out engineers for reclaim and perhaps new base building duties, but no definitive killing blow being prepped by Selen to push and finish off Jagged once and for all. Maybe because they're planning to do it from the sky. Here comes another experimental bomber in from Nexus, going straight after the clump of engineers down here, it would seem. And that ought to tidy them up nicely. Shield comes online just in time to protect this little group up here. Ah, the Tsar gets shot. What shot that down? Is that the Redeemers? Redeemers under here must have done the work there. Selen, finally. Another bomb off over here. This one's very close to Jagged, but there's a nuke out as well. Jagged's base is just getting torn asunder. Hits the comm as well with that explosion. Takes away his shield and about 10 or 15% of his health. Now, where's that nuke going? The nuke is out from Paralon. It's going up towards Nexus. Do we have nuke defense? No, but it doesn't matter because he's not going to hit anything anyway. He was going after the comm. To his credit, wasn't actually that far out, but he got away sufficiently from the blast radius. And that's a lot of wasted resources that didn't get anything done. But you've got to take these opportunities where you can get them. GC on GC prepping. Jagged is damaged and taking fire from sniper boxes. Sniper boxes? That's not a thing, but I shall make it a thing. You lots will all repeat it. It's now sniper boxes. It's fine. That's the way I do it. I invent new language and then it's no longer incorrect. It's a thing. But essentially that thing means Selen will hold that section of the field with the Colossus. And can he get it down here to wipe these out again? He's got up to T2s in the new core mass area. Just can't quite shut Jagged out. They keep pushing him back. They're doing damage, but Jagged, it's just like the turd that won't flush. Burrowed in like the little tick he is. It's not going anywhere, it seems. Nexus scooping mass of Azar wreckage. I don't even know when that one got shot down. So much stuff has died in this. It's pretty unreal. How are we doing on that emissary we were working on earlier? Well, it looks like we've had other things to do because it's still in the red. Although it's getting some serious prioritization now. All of the T3 engineers in the world now working on that puppy. That will give Team 1 a new headache to worry about. Paralon's employment of artillery has been pretty exceptional so far, so why should it be any different with T3 static? Here comes another Awasar going after this rogue GC dispatched out from Paralon to try and cut off incoming reinforcements and cause problems for Selen, who's desperately trying to shut off Jagged Appliance. 51 minutes gone in a 2v2 and we are not there yet. This is totally an epic. This totally should be an epic. I might just rebrand it and you guys will have to ignore my little intro. Let's face it. Let's face it. This is insane. GC goes down to the experimental bomber, but another one comes in behind it and finishes that one off anyway. Emissary complete. Oof. Is that? So is there already artillery coming out from down? Yes, there is. So we're getting excited about that emissary. And there's already T3 artillery for Nexus on here, unloading. And where that landed, it would seem that it's going after the emissary. So he's got no choice but to fire back at it, really. Unless he can get enough shields up. Oh my goodness, fire, would you? Would you fire already? If you go much further up in the sky, you're going to be landing the shell on your head. There we go. Another experimental bomb. A couple of GCs clumped up. That'll hit nicely, but oh my god, there's major GC pressure being dispatched out from Paralon and going after Selen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 GCs down to 4. And it is all about just going deep right now. They're not clearing paths, it would seem. They're just trying to get in sensitive areas.
Strategic launch detected.
And cause problems. Hemorrhage, if you will. Another nuke out. This one going over, I imagine, will get shot down. They must have anti-nuke, and there it is. Another one loaded in there, ready to go. These GCs getting close now, taking a lot of hits from that Awasar. Another GC completes in time. That will be primaried by the inbound GCs. There's so many Oblivion turrets, though. Just outrageous. Lovely little bit of ground bombing there, maximizing the AoE damage. Do they get to kill it off? Yes, they do. So there's still 2 GCs on the loose in Selen's base. Experimental bomber doing more harm than good now. This has got to feel good for Team 2, who've been on the back foot for a long, long time now. Lovely bit of reclaim action from some of these engineers. Stop that thing from going critical and blowing up everything. One of the GCs is down. Another T3 reactor. They're chasing Selen, who really ought to be getting his shiny metal backside moving like yesterday, because that GC is on him now. He stands. He locks on to the comm. The comm is firing. Fortunately, the shields hold up, and thanks to the GC down here and the Oblivion turrets, it was enough. He knew what he was doing. His massive cojones totally knew how that was going to play out. Now some more pressure again from Nexus, thinking they might be short on experimentals after that little bit of play. Oh look, and some more aerial bombardment for Jagged. Oh man, it's just so demoralizing when it's you. It's your base that you're constantly rebuilding and then eating massive experimental bombs. Ouch. Ion Storm takes down a GC. Now, how are things going on the artillery front over here? It looks like there's been a few casualties, mostly engineers and the like. Another emissary under construction over here. Looks like there's at least 2 functional artillery pieces now. There we go for Nexus, working on a 3rd. At some point they'll reach critical mass and these shields will cease to hold up under the barrage. Another scary looking group of units, although not a huge amount of T3 ground, has to be said. No massive piles of Harbingers or anything. It's got a few in there, a few sniper bots and some absolvers. Absolvers being pretty key in this one. Look at the pile of ASFs that Selen has amassed as well. It's pretty sizable stuff. Pretty extensive. Another Awasar. Actually nice to see so many of them being built. It's not an experimental you get to see an awful lot of. No on the reclaim. Naughty, naughty engineers. No thank you. These ones actually survive. That surprises me. Hoping to clear all of those up, I'm sure, and then pull out, but didn't want to drift too far in range of these transcenders that are dotting around and expose that experimental to more discomfort. Another GC battle over here that looks like that could... Actually, I don't know, now that a Harbinger's turned up, I was just going to say it looks like Selen was going to win that, but overkill there for one engineer, and got one of his own in the process as well. One of his teammates. Now we have some trouble. Here we go. Some proper ground pressure against Jagged. How many times he rebuilds these Nexus, they keep getting wiped out. Where's that nuke going? Desperate to take down this place up here, but... Oh my goodness, did he kill off the SMD? There was an SMD in here that shot down the last nuke. Has he got another one in here? That must have been what the emissary's been firing at. Oh, the plays! The plays! The bees! Boom! O-M goodness. Wow. Nexus just ate so much damage, and he's lost so much. 3 artillery pieces. That is going to open this game wide up. And he's now no longer on the lead, unsurprisingly, in mass totals either. He's down to 561. I don't know if that's... No, he's not. He can't spend the math quickly enough. He's lost God knows how much. He's got all the power in the world. That is a legit score. And Paralon is on 650 versus his 560. Selen is spiking pretty high. Must be reclaiming a lot. But he's up certainly around the 700s as well. Jagged is just... He's bottomed out on this. And it's no surprise the pressure he's been under from every which way. Paralon, my gap skills helped me. I had 450 reclaim. Look at all of that reclaim. Look at these wrecks here. 22,000, 20,000. And that was... said Control K, but it looks suspiciously like artillery was inbound. But there he goes. Full share is on, so somewhere a fairy has died of terminal hemorrhoids. Wow. Just wow. On the cusp of an hour, that nuke did everything. Completely changed the nature of the game. Where are those emissaries firing now? They're going straight up over towards Paralon. Are they going after the comm? Are they accurate enough to actually make that tenable? Certainly seems like that's the area they're focusing on. And now, very unlikely he's going to be able to keep up. I mean, output is certainly higher still, but fighting on the two fronts, two higher rated players. ASF's taking a stroll over the defenses over here. They're going to go after Jagged Appliance, trying to absorb some of that fire. Jagged is going to eat a couple of those strap bombs and takes extra damage from the volatility explosion there of the power plant. Will he get a consolation prize? It's quite possible. 2,600. That last bomb misses. There's one strat remaining, but he's not going to make it out. So Jagged still survives. They just can't kill this guy. It doesn't matter how much they throw at him. That was a lovely little two-step though. Spin move, got him out of range of that last bomb that probably would have finished him off. And now, mass further spam. Just tidying up some of this stuff. Oh my god, I cry. Yeah, there's the submission. He knew it wasn't going to happen, and well deserved. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It really was well deserved. By the end there, Nexus His kill-loss ratio, obviously, full on it. Pretty sure it takes a huge dip when all of your units get blown up. But Paralon, 1.47 kill-loss ratio. I mean, that's pretty special. That whole game was pretty special. An hour. So, yeah, I mean, this is basically an epic, right? I think that's the only fair way to classify this. Because I usually, when the T3 arty starts coming out and a game's going long like that, that's typically when we get there. Now, I'm going to see if I can get into a game here. There's no guarantee. No guarantee. I haven't done it in a while. We will see if I can get into a 1v1. Which is really bad because I really need a wee. But, well, we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what happens. But, yeah. Game did not terminate correctly. Oh, is that because I've still got that replay running? Well, let's get rid of that. There we go. And we'll see if I can get someone interested to come and spank me. I really should just, rather than trying to do ladder, I should just set up a 1v1. What have we got? Ooh. Right. Oh, no, I don't want to be able... No, don't do that. It's a good start. I'll need that air factory later anyway, it's fine. I'm sure it won't have decomposed by the time I need it. Oh dear. This is me fiddling with all of the other stuff that you've got to do. So going 2 PGM, got the hydro down there. And where am I going to bring my comm to? I've never played Certis Major in a 1v1. This is going to be just horrid. Just horrid, I tell you. What is the power again? So, I need to get some reclaim in. We're looking at so much reclaim, but all sort of poxy amounts. Oh, I thought it was facing Chunky. No, Alex VB. Probably be polite. See, he was polite. But I think people need to understand when they play me that I'm very much busy panicking for the opening. For the opening stages. Yeah, and people also asking, when am I going to do more streams, learning streams and what have you? Well, the answer is to that. Soon TM, which is why I do everything. I'm just going to be lazy and do what they tell you to never do and putting that on rinse repeat. I'm going to pull my comm out to the middle. See, that's the thing, I don't know where I'm going to need it. Well, I want spam to go in one direction, don't I? So I can take it. So if I pull my comm to there and then send this to just start producing that, and send that up there. Have that on rinse and repeat, and you know what, we're gonna, I don't like what the lack of intel, so oh my god, there we go. How much time I'm wasting. You see that? I'm so far behind. Boo 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 boo. Very conscious that I'm sending my comm out all by his lonesome. And I want to build more factories as well. Actually, I want to build one up there. I've seen them do this on the telly. Yes! Distance build up the cliff. I'm a real pro now. That's it. It's true. Now these engineers are doing sweet FA. Not to be confused with FAF. Alright, you go and start reclaiming up here because there's juice. I like the juice. Some farm simulator league. That's not a thing. People talking to me in chat. That cannot be a thing. Alright, let's get a spy plane out, see what we're dealing with, because I'm very much unhappy with the situation. Let's get you building some more things up here. You know what, I'm going to do another one right next to you. I'm probably going to have to move that. Oh. Oh, I hear gunshots. So this guy needs to be on rinse repeat as well up there. What have you got going down here? Might be I don't even know if I've got enough power. Let's start building some power up there with you guys. Let's build more land factories. No, don't you die. I want you to stay alive. I like you. Drift out of water range. Drift out of range. No! It's fine. It's fine. I'm only panicking slightly. Right. Maybe we could start harassing a little bit. Oh, that's so bad. I've not got the power for that. I'm not that far off, I suppose. Send a few more to deal with some of that. Ooh, look at that forward factory. Don't like that. Got a little clump on over at that side. Little sparsely populated pockets. Oh, this is com. Yeah, I don't fancy that right now. And, oh my god, okay, I'm wasting mass. I've got to do something. Guess I'm going to upgrade, even though Jagged told me never to upgrade. Just carry on. But it's what I'm going to do, because why not? Because I'm so lost in this map. I've got to do what I've got to do. Got to spend that mass. Just building as many factories as I can. Let's try and hit those with that.
Commander under attack.
Ugh. Definitely need more ground-based direct firepower up at that top flank. That is not going the way I want it to go.
Commander under attack.
It's just to start pumping some out going that way. Ouch. Flying those straight over the middle. That's not gone well. No. Don't you go in first, you wally.
Commander under attack. Commander under attack.
Oh no, Jester plays! Jester plays! Quick, go for the draw! Oh, why didn't I switch up to interceptors? I did not need to be building that many bombers.
Commander under attack.
Ugh, what's with the lag, yo? Me no like. What's with the lag? What is with this lag? I do not appreciate it in the slightest. He's got inties out already buzzing around. No, there's no way I'm picking up a draw off this. Not a chance in hell. Oh! There we go. Well, not the most entertaining of matches. But I had a game nonetheless. What else do you want from me? I'll see if I can try and iron out that huge bit of static in the middle with a clip section in YouTube video editor. Then I have to mess around with rendering. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. Patreon guys, Patreon supporters, have no fear. I have not forgotten you. I have a cast ready to go. I'm going to try and get that done ASAP. Might not be tomorrow. It might be on Tuesday. We'll have to see. But nonetheless, guys, until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.